Good morning, this is Sage live from the Kalkine studio and you are watching the early trades. While the US corporate earnings season, domestic quarterly updates and key economic data are closely eyed by market participants, raging virus threats in India and pressure on oil prices continue to cast dark shadows to the key global indexes. Let us cast an eye over how market charter is panning out today. The Asian share markets got off to a slow start on Monday as holidays in China and Japan crimped volumes and investors awaited a raft of data this week, which should show the US leading a global economic recovery. The Australian shares rose only marginally today, with local miners, IT and oil companies under the pressure following last week's sectoral performance of the major US markets. And the US stock markets dropped on Friday with Apple, Alphabet and other tech-related companies falling despite recent strong quarterly earnings reports. And the Dow Jones fell 0.54%, closing at 33,875.31, while the S&P 500 lost 0.72% to 4,181.21. The Nasdaq Composite slipped 0.85% to 13,962.68. Most of the 11 major S&P 500 sector indexes were lower, with technology and materials down more than 1%, while energy fell 2.2%. And moving on to the major newsmakers, the biggest news comes from one of the big four banks, Westpac Banking Corporation, hitting more than a 14-month high on robust first half earnings. Westpac has announced better than expected cash profits in the first half of 2021 due to continued economic recovery in Australia and New Zealand. The statutory net profit was recorded at 3,443 million Australian dollars, up 189% in the given period, and Westpac declared an interim dividend of 58 cents per share, in line with estimates. Further, the bank said cost savings will come from branch closures and reducing head office space. Another big update comes from specialty retail fashion chains owner Premier Investments. The company said that it would repay full net benefit of 15.6 million Australian dollars received from JobKeeper. And meanwhile, Australia's leading cotton processing and marketing organisation, Aumake Cotton, would raise 12.2 million Australian dollars across a 7.2 million Australian dollar institutional placement of shares and an additional 3 million Australian dollars to 5 million Australian dollars via share purchasing plans to existing shareholders. Citgo Refining and Chemicals Company has awarded Worley a 5-year maintenance turnaround and services agreement at its refineries in Lake Charles, Louisiana and Corpus Christi, Texas. Citgo Refining and Chemicals Company has awarded Worley a 5-year maintenance turnaround and services agreement at its refineries in Lake Charles, Louisiana and Corpus Christi, Texas. Under the agreement, Worley will provide maintenance, turnaround and sustaining capital services to the two refineries. Approximately 600 people will be providing services under the agreement. And moving on, the Perth-based gold exploration company Westar Resources Limited announced completion of negotiations to facilitate Westar becoming the 100% beneficial owner of Birrigrin Mining Centre, adjoining the Gidgee South Gold Project. Then Deterra Royalties Limited is in the spotlight, confirming 36.4 million Australian dollars of total royalty receipts for the March 2021 quarter. Then the operator of an online platform that directly connects Asian influencers with high quality and authentic Australian brands, Aumake Ltd announced that its Chief Financial Officer, Peter Zhao, has resigned to pursue a new career opportunity effective 3rd of May 2021. Zhao would be replaced by Tony Guarna as the new Chief Financial Officer. The Seven Network today announced the appointment of Dean La Rosa as Head of Commercial Data and a new partnership with Adobe for its 7 Red IQ audience intelligence platform. And last but not least, RPM Group delivered a record performance over the third quarter of financial year 2021, with all divisions delivering a solid revenue performance. Group revenue for the quarter was up 59% to 14.5 million Australian dollars, beating projected forecasts by 16%. Looking at the charged up crypto space, Ether hit a record high on Monday to trade within a whisker of US $3,000, extending last week's rally in the wake of a report that the European Investment Bank, or EIB, could launch a digital bond sale on the Ethereum blockchain network. And meanwhile, the Special Purpose Acquisition, or SPA company, Boom, is under the spotlight amid UK's evident struggle. The UK Financial Conduct Authority, or FCA, on Friday outlined possible changes in rules governing blank cheque vehicles under the guise of strengthening investor protections. The FCA's solution is to lift the suspension requirement for SPACs that raise at least £200 million, have ring-fenced funds, grant shareholders a vote on deals, and return the cash if they fail to secure a target. And on that note, let us see what can impact the markets this week. The global markets are expected to react to the new record of over 400,000 a day coronavirus infections in India. France's health minister had also raised concerns over the dangers of the COVID-19 variant present in India and said it must not be underestimated. Overall, investors will closely eye half-yearly earnings from 3 of the 4 Australian big banks over the week. And besides, the oil prices fell on Friday on concerns about wider lockdowns in India and Brazil. The Brent crude futures settled 1.9% down at US $67.26 a barrel, while the WTI crude futures closed 2.26% down at US $63.54 US per barrel. And the oil companies such as Santos Limited, Beach Energy Limited, Oil Search Limited are expected to face some selling pressure. Meanwhile, the gold prices are under the scanner. Spot gold fell 0.3% to US $1,766.89 an ounce, while the US gold futures settled 0.14% lower at US $1,767.30 an ounce. A busy week for US economic data is expected to show resounding strength, particularly for the ISM Manufacturing Survey and April payrolls. Then the Australian investors would closely track data on building approvals and international trade in goods and services. The Australian Bureau of Statistics, or ABS, data for new borrower accepted finance commitments for housing, personal and business loans would also be out on Tuesday. And besides the Reserve Bank of Australia, or RBA, meeting on Tuesday, a speech by Deputy Governor Guy de Bella on Thursday, along with the statement on monetary policy on Friday, would be keenly tracked. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and do stay tuned for more live updates on Kalkine TV across economy, markets and sectors. And this is Sage signing off for now.